Anshuman Magazine, do you want to begin with a rating, or are you also going to play it safe?
Every year I do the rating. This time I'd like to pass because the problem is it's too early. I just realize every year that when you read the fine print, your rating may change. But
you can always revise your rating if you want. So it's like revised, like with the budget, you have revised estimates and then you have the budget estimates. But I'm just joking. Sorry. Yes, go ahead.
If you really insist, I would give it a 7 rating, which with the caveat that it may go down or maybe after I read the fine print.
Oh, okay, fine. That's your BE, your budget estimate. You can have your revised estimate after you go through the fine print, which we also, by the way, I'm stuck in studio, so I also want to go through the fine print. But okay, so Anshuman Magazine, broadly the same question as I asked Harsh Neotia. What would you say is one big positive for you in this budget, and what would be one negative or area of worry?
I think actually giving one positive, I would say one big positive is some of the indications. For example, talking about digitization of land records registration. Now, this seems like a very small thing, but can you imagine if you look at today's litigation, what is happening in the country across India, and we talk about thousands of court cases that start in the whole system. The maximum number of cases are on land litigation.
So.
Right?
But just a quick question, of course, that's a great thing, digitization of land records, but isn't that been an ongoing thing? I mean, it's not a new thing.
I'm just going to, let me finish on that. It's just that, that also on registration of land records across India anyway. Now, this sounds great. The problem challenge is it's a state subject and it needs to be implemented. So my point was, if they at least talked about it, if this is implemented, it will have a massive, bigger impact than people can imagine. One is, of course, ease of doing business, etc. The bigger thing is investment coming in. I think this is one of the biggest deterrents for investment to real estate and in parts of infrastructure, both domestic capital and international capital. It will make such a big difference that if this is really implemented, and huge money will come in. So if it is implemented, again, it's just an announcement right now. So I'm pleased that at least it's been highlighted. Now, if it gets implemented, it'll have a major impact. And the other one, I mean, there's a long list, but very quickly on data centers. Now, this is again a huge opportunity for our country. It's been given infrastructure status. It's a good start that should encourage, easier funding there. And one other area, of course, I would talk about is that urbanization and focus on tier 2, tier 3 cities and talking about modernization of routes there. But more importantly, one thing which again has not been highlighted earlier is that capacity building at the government. So a lot of the big schemes which are announced by the government, one of the reasons, there are many others, where they're not implemented is because the government doesn't have capacity to implement. So that capacity building and 5 center of excellence they talked about. So these are 2-3 things which are different from the previous budgets, which I have not seen looking at budgets from many
and
years.
An area of worry or where you felt that the budget didn't do enough?
More than worry, I would say disappointment that there could be more incentives given for people to invest in housing. As you know, on construction is after agriculture, the largest employer. Employment is a huge topic. And I think more could have been done to give incentives to home buyers, which would have, had its own multiplier impact on the economy. One of the things, I mean, there are others, but this is the major one, tax incentives.
Okay, that's something which you felt was missing. And also, just in terms of Anshuman, because one of the things which people have pointed out is that while again consistency is good and all of that, but what's the new or the big announcement that's different from the past? Of course, there's now a tax on cryptocurrency. I don't know if that's necessarily considered like a new initiative, but is there anything that jumped out at you as a kind of a big new announcement or shift or direction?
Again, few things like, which seem small, but they're not. For example, the construction industry, which is again a major employer, like I mentioned. One of the asks they had was that when they're bidding for construction contracts with the government, which is the biggest, where the investment comes into construction, they have to give these bank guarantees. So the budget is announced that now they can give security. Now you have to instead of giving bank guarantees. So the cost for the construction companies would come down, but then again you have to read the fine print. there was a talk about special economic zones. There will be a policy. Now, special economic zone, if you look at the total exports out of them, had marginally declined last year. So, September, the budget is announced that they will come with the special economic zone policy. I think that should be very interesting. If they come up, this could make a big difference to our country. And no doubt, I would say, again, on the infrastructure side, there is continuity. But at the same time, talking about multimodal logistics, I think logistics was a major part, which I would see that it's been talked about before, but there's more emphasis in the budget right now. Logistics industry, again, has gone through, I would use the word boom, in this case, since last 2 years. And we continue to see that happening for next 1 or 2 years. So the budget mentioning about logistics, I think will make a big difference to the economy.
Okay, all right. Well, let's see. As I said, it's still a kind of work in progress. We're all still reading and assessing and reviewing our own assessment of it. But thanks very much indeed, Anshuman Magazine, for joining us.